The following is a series of Road and Dyno runs to tune the 50-degree cam angle map. The car had Jackson Racing headers, Integra Type R cams, and an Integra Type R intake manifold. At low RPM on these stock maps here, you can see they're quite bumpy. The stock K20 engine doesn't run very well at large cam angles at low RPM. So, having started off with a stock map, we did the road run, and this is the air-fuel ratio curve in blue that the car produced. Now you can see the car's running quite lean. At this particular point we ran about a 15.7 air-fuel ratio. This particular point here ran around about a 14.1, and the lowest point was around about a 12.85. So the headers produced this very lean area which we have to work with and compensate with. So the changes I made to this were to add fuel between 4,000 RPM and 6,000 RPM. So I would have selected this area here and added quite a bit of fuel to this area here to compensate for the lean spike there. And this is what we ended up with. 50-degree VTC edit 1. So what I also did in this area is under 4,000 RPM I flattened the maps out. They were very bumpy before. It's quite difficult to tune bumpy maps, so in some cases it's just easy to draw straight lines, as you see here. I drew straight lines and then tuned from there. So I added quite a bit of fuel in that area. Then did another street run, and the data log that resulted from that, run 2, you can see it's now running a lot leaner, a lot richer in this area here. Still not as rich as we would like. Let's have a look at the air-fuel ratio here. Okay, at around 43 to 4600 RPM, it's running again quite lean. There's a lean spike in that area there. So in this area here. So I added fuel to that particular area and ended up with another map. The map we ended up with was edit 2. And you can see the fuel that I've added in the 2D map here really quite clearly. So we've got a bump in this area, so we add fuel, we don't need as much fuel there, and then we need more fuel in this area here. This is a resonance point which is created by the lengths of the intake and the length of the exhaust. And typically very good headers need a lot of fuel in the mid-range RPM, between 4 and about 6,000 RPM. So having changed the maps to what we see there, we then ended up doing another run. And the data log produced from that run, the air-fuel ratio is nice and flat. My aim was to get the air-fuel ratio nice and flat, and it runs between, still a little bit lean, 14:1 air-fuel ratio there, and 13.75 air-fuel ratio at that particular point there. So this was just road tuning in order to get rid of the lean spikes in the fuel map. After I'd done all these road tuning runs, I then took the vehicle to the dyno and tuned it for power. And as it was, yes, 13.75 is a little bit too lean for the maps that we needed. It actually needed to be a little bit richer, somewhere around the 13:1 air-fuel ratio map. And that map ended up looking something exactly like this. Edit 4, the dyno map. And in this case we actually had quite a sharp resonance point here, and we needed to add fuel all the way through. So 3 road runs and 1 dyno run has produced us a very well mapped 50-degree cam angle map. Took quite some time, but the results are worth it.